Hi, you guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for putting up with my hiatus. As you can see, one of my kitties is next to me and she's kind of demanding belly rubs, so I'm going to be multitasking. Um, I do apologize for being gone. I had a lot going on. I had done a past life regression, and being an empath, I did not prepare myself for the aftermath. I would not suggest going grocery shopping after a past life regression session because it is brutal. So I did that. I took some time for myself. I took a lot of healing time for myself because if I'm not feeling like myself or if I'm not feeling confident in what I'm saying, how can I pass it along to you guys? How can I give you any knowledge or, any insight if I'm just not there? I don't think it's fair, and I wouldn't want somebody working with me if it was like that, or providing me anything if they weren't feeling like themselves. So thank you for that. I did get a lot accomplished during that time. I am now a certified physical fitness trainer. So if you need any personal training advice, any kind of like what you should be doing, or how can you get over this like hump with your body, just let me know and I can totally help you out. I also have enrolled in the integrative nutrition program, so I can give more of a holistic health advice. Diets never worked for me, so changing the way I was eating and implementing these changes and making it a lifestyle was something that worked for me. My weight has always been up and down, it's always yo-yoed. I've always had a lot of issues with it, so I totally understand everything that kind of comes with that. So when I left off last time, we were just starting the witch's wheel for me, anyways. We were about to celebrate the Sabbath Imbolc. So I'm going to go over that first, and then I'll go over the goddesses because I have been living really by one goddess for 2 weeks now because I didn't know how to incorporate her in my life, and she did it on her own, and I'll go over that later. So, Imbolc. We're going to start with that. It is a celebration of the goddess Grid. She's a Celtic goddess. It also is marking the midwinter in your solar calendar. So for, you normies out there, it is Groundhog's Day. So, you're seeing if there's any more winter or if you guys, can move on to summer. Being in Hawaii, this means nothing to me because it's pretty much the same weather all year round. It just means for me that it's going to rain less so I can go outside and get my tan back and start surfing again. I know, such troubles I live. So, to go on a little more from that, I will discuss the moon magic that I did and how I kind of brought this one in. Um, but I'm going to go over some of the basics. If you're wanting to do this the next witches cycle, just, you can kind of take these tidbits. This was my first one that I was able to do and really involve myself in. So I didn't do anything big, but that's just not who I am as a person. So you have to kind of do what feels right for you. Incense that you can use is rosemary, frankincense, myrrh, and cinnamon. I've used cinnamon and frankincense and myrrh. So one of the incense that I had purchased had both. It was an incense stick. So really, this is kind of like the preparation for the coming out of the dark time and into your spring. This is a big agriculture holiday way back when. It was saying, hey, we're ready. The earth is preparing for you guys to plant some more stuff and really just like get ready for spring and, all the life that comes with spring. So really, it's really just focusing on the new beginnings. So this is one of 4 fire festivals, and it symbolizes the changing of the goddess from the crone to the maiden. So the crone is like the final version of the goddess cycle. It's really your last years. You're old, you're wise, you know everything kind of. And shifting from that crone to that maiden, when you're shifting into the maiden, just think of yourself when you were young. Just think of yourself in your early 20s, in your teens, your late teens, not early teens, but, late teens, early 20s, and you were just young and free, and you just wanted to have a good time. Spring. bunnies. Think of bunnies, if that explains it. Um, so Breed is like I said, she's a Celtic goddess. She's in charge of poetry, healing, smithcraft, midwifery, and she is a triple goddess. So for that, you can use one white candle, yellow or a red to kind of symbolize and help bring in this beginning of springtime. It says that it's a good time for initiation. So if you were just kind of like getting back into it, like I was, it's a good time to initiate yourself back in. For me, it was quite an experience because I did it and really things started to change after. There was quite a bit of shifting. But I'll go over that after I go over these fun facts because I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm trying to keep it short. Let's see. This is a good time for a festival of light and fertility. This is a fire festival. So like I said, it's a fire festival. So a good way to acknowledge her and what you are trying to do is after sundown, you go and you turn on every light in your house and then you turn all the lights off. But in traditional times, they would set something on fire. Since you can't just really go around setting things on fire anymore, you have to, find other ways. So I have my ritual written down here, but I'm not gonna read it or kind of give it out for this reason. When I was growing up, I thought everything had to be one way, a certain way. You had to do, especially when it came to anything with witchcraft or rituals. I thought it had to be a particular way. So I needed all these books and all these things, and they're nice, and they tell you about the history and, the symbolism and color and flower and smells, which is great. You do need those things. But at the end of the day, you also need your intuition. So I'm not going to give out what I did or what I said because I'm just as guilty. I went somewhere and kind of grabbed something to say because I wasn't sure. And after my initiation back into all of this, I know I need to depend less on that and really on my own self and what I am trying to say. So, these are actual fun facts. Celebrated by the Romans on February 15th. That's when they would celebrate this holiday. The Egyptians called it the Feast of Nuts, and it was celebrated on February 2nd. A good time for certain foods, or a good time to eat these certain foods, there we go, to acknowledge this fire festival are breads, grains, veggies, dairy, foods that honor earth and home. So that's kind of a little bit over Imbolc and just really ways you can acknowledge it. If it's something you're interested in later, or if you really do want to know what I did for my moon ritual, you can feel free to message me, and I will tell you. I will always give you helpful hints. I'm never going to keep it, it a secret because I don't want anyone else to have it. I just want you guys to trust your intuition. Like I said, things really did start to shift. My moon ritual was really focusing on bringing myself back to who I am and to what I felt like my magic was. And I was super fortunate because I channeled my grandmother, who has shown up in all of my Reiki healing sessions, who is around me all the time. So she came through with that and just kind of told me to trust myself and trust where I'm going. So if somebody needed to hear that today, trust yourself and trust where you're going. You're doing the right thing, even though it feels really uncomfortable and very, very scary. So that's where I'm going to end on that. So she's very distracting. She's a big baby and she needs all the attention in the world. Stop it. So after this, I'm going to go, now that we finished that up, I'm going to go over Green Tara. Start delegating. I know I pulled this card when I did my last video and I never came back and did a video about it. That's kind of when everything was going on. So it says, start delegating, ask others, including me, to help you instead of trying to do everything by yourself. It's probably one of the reasons I was so exhausted. I like to do everything on my own. So to go over a little bit of the Green Tara, I'll put my glasses on because I'm blind. She is a Tibetan goddess. She is the Buddha of compassion and action. Um, she can save us from 8 dangers. So they also would explain this via animals, like giving an animal example of each of these 8 dangers that we might experience. For pride, it would be lions. Delusion and ignorance is wild elephants. Hatred, forest fires. Jealousy is snakes. Uh, Wrong views, including fanatical, which has been happening a lot lately, robbers, greed, and misery is prisons. Desires and attachments was represented by floods, and doubts caused by disillusion is represented by demons. So these are kind of making sense, and it's not all animals. It is actions of the earth, or it is already established things like prisons. Um, yeah, so that's Grintara is to save us from these 8 things. Um, there are some chants which I don't want to say because I'm terrified I'm going to say them wrong. But you can look up the Green Tara chant, which is Om Tara Tutara Turi Soha. I guess I do know this one. I said it every day that for that week I had her. It means I prostrate to the liberator, mother of all victorious ones. So it's really saying that you're giving yourself and trusting her to help you, that you trusting her, and to liberate you from these 8 things that are in constant day-to-day life. So it's really to help you channel. Go over here. The Buddhists do consider her one of the great wisdom goddesses. When I was having her around, that was when I did decide to take some more time to myself, but things were still getting done. I don't know how they were getting done. I'm going to thank her, but things were still getting done and kind of working out in my favor. She's known to be wisdom in action and compassion in action. She is a consort of all the male Buddhas. She is a second great wisdom goddess, and she doesn't really want much. She just wants simple offerings of some water, anything you kind of have. She doesn't ask for much. She wants to help you. She wants to be there to help you out. So don't think you have to give her everything. She just wants simple things. And as a woman, I kind of understand that all we ever really want are the simple things. It just is made to seem like we want much bigger things, if that makes sense. All right. So it was, like I said, it was nice having her during that time. It was very relaxing. However, the goddess that I have been living with the past 2 weeks and not really even sure how she was going to play a role, because when I pulled the card, it was very confusing for me, would be Maat. Fairness. The situation would be handled in a fair and just manner. So for me, that was really confusing. I didn't have any legal cases going on, and she is an Egyptian goddess that was known for legal cases. I am so attracted to Egyptian goddesses and gods in that time, and just one of my past lives had to have been there, just the way that I feel so attached to ancient Egypt. So when she came up, I was like, okay, well, I guess we'll see what happens, but I don't think I have any court cases. I hope I don't have any court cases going on that I don't know about. And over the past 2 weeks, I kind of understood that it wasn't about court. It was about so much more. So I'm going to go over just these kind of tidbits, and then I'm going to tell you how she did play a role and what it meant to me. So she stands for fairness and surrendering personal agendas for the greater good, as well as a time to call on hers to release guilt and shame of any of your past actions, because these emotions are just going to attract negative things to you. She is the Egyptian goddess of integrity, fairness, and justice. Like I said, she has an ostrich feather, or she is usually seen with an ostrich feather in her hair. Very rare occasion, she has no head, and it's just an ostrich feather. But that is kind of what she would weigh souls against when they would pass, and it would be time for them to transition over So the past life, she would weigh their deeds against this ostrich feather. And the reason that it was chosen to be an ostrich feather is because this is the only bird whose weight within that feather is the same on both sides of the axis, of the central axis. So their little thing that goes down the middle, I don't even know what that's called, to be totally honest. But yeah, so that's why they chose the ostrich feather. She is good for protection in business and personal relationships. You would call on her if you're feeling, or if you're signing any contracts, whether you are in a dispute with someone, or if you are having feelings of guilt and remorse. She's the daughter of Ra and the wife of the moon god Thoth. I think that's how you say it. Yeah, so she's known returning to the god who gave to you, because she returns to her father. So I had no idea what any of this meant when she first came up. Like I said, I had no legal cases. During the past 2 weeks, a lot of things have come to surface, a lot of past emotions I've had with myself, a lot of pent up remorse, a lot of, really angry emotions towards myself. And I learned I needed to treat myself fairly, that I have been through a lot and I continue to go through things all the time. And I need to be more kind and gentle to myself and understand that, everybody or anyone who had hurt me was doing the best that they could during that time. This particularly applied to my mother, who I've who I haven't been close to recently. We have a lot of history. This is not the time or place to go over it, but treating her fairly and forgiving her is what Matt taught me. And forgiving myself and treating myself fairly is another thing that she taught me. It was also very important for this work that I'm doing, is to forgive myself and move forward and know that I am not who I used to be, and I am doing the best that I can, and I am a good person. These are things that she kind of showed up and really helped me learn these past 2 weeks, is being kind to myself and fair to myself and fair to others. I had someone reach out to me to see if I would do some work with them, and normally I don't work with men. He is a man. Normally I only work with women, but is that fair that I only work with women? No. Am I gonna, shut avenues to myself and to him because I only work with women? Yes. So to acknowledge Matt and to continue to work on trying to provide internal peace for people, to therefore provide more peace outside in their day-to-day life, I can't be unfair. I can't say, oh, I won't work with you because you're a man. Well, I have to work with them because they're men, because they also embody that feminine energy and masculine energy, and it is important to balance out the two. So she did show me a lot, and even though it didn't make sense at the time, I'm very thankful that she showed up these past 2 weeks. I needed everything she taught me. So that is those goddess cards. Like I said, I'm trying to keep it short. Let me see. Oh, yeah, it's about there. So I'm going to wrap it up. If you have any questions, you can always contact me at helenoftroytales.com. You can message me on here. You can follow me on Instagram at Bambi Voodoo or at Helen of Troy Tales. Either or, they both pretty much post the same stuff, just one is for business. Oh, she's mad at me. She left because I stopped rubbing her belly. So for today, I'm going to pull my own goddess card to work on and follow and try to incorporate that one in my life as well. If it's a duplicate of one I've had before, then there won't be a video over her. I'll just pick something else to go over. So let me close my eyes. Sorry, I'm trying to see which one has the most energy. All right. I should just pick the one on top. That was what it was telling me to, but I was like, that's too easy. See, not listening to my intuition, things I'm working on. I got Aphrodite. I've never gotten her before. I pull these cards all the time. I pull them at Fit for Goddess, the pole studio I work at. So this is new for me. Inner Goddess. Awaken the goddess within you through dance, self-care, and appreciating your divinity. So this makes sense, right? Everything I just talked about. So yeah, I'm going to work on this week, and I will get back to you guys and let you know. And I appreciate everything, and I'm sorry this one was so long. I'm going to do my best to really focus on my business and really focus on bringing you guys information as frequently as I can. So thank you. Have a good weekend. I love you. Take care of yourselves. And yeah, just be. Just be.